We couldn't take our family all the way from the U.S. to Australia and skip the Great Barrier Reef. So we made a stop in Cairns for about 4 days to take it all in. So our whole trip down under was really centered around visiting my sister and her family in Papua New Guinea. And to get there, the easiest flights into PNG was with Air New Guinea, and they fly in and out of Australia. And so they fly out of multiple places, but instead of booking a round trip, we flew out of Brisbane and then we flew back into Australia, into Cairns. That was the shortest flight that we could get. It ended up being a little bit cheaper that way too. I was unable to use any points or redemptions through credit card miles or anything for those flights on Air New Guinea. So saving that little bit of money helped a little bit in the long run and gave us access to a place that we really kind of wanted to explore anyway. The main draw, obviously, to Cairns was its access to the Barrier Reef. There's also, though, a huge rainforest just north of town called the Daintree. And Megan wanted to spend some time at the beach since we'd been in the mountains of PNG for the last 10 days, too. So really, I want to share this info on how we did this portion of our trip and where we went and stayed and things like that, though, to help others on travels like this. Maybe it's to Cairns, maybe it's somewhere else, and this perspective of flying into different locations and looking at options, it opens up the doors to see different places in a similar area instead of just doing a round-trip ticket.
Everybody, welcome aboard the Tropic Sunseeker for your trip out to the Fitzroy Islands and Great Barrier Reef today.
Where are you going, Kiri?
Out to the Barrier Reef.
So this was one of those excursions that was totally worth spending the money on. We used Sun Lover Reef Cruises for an all-day adventure on Moore Reef. The whole day activity cost us about $575 US for the whole family, all 6 of us. It included about an hour or so cruise out to the reef, and then about 4 or 5 hours on the barge with lunch included. All the needed snorkeling gear and dive suits and everything were provided also. One thing they stressed to us was even though it wasn't high season for the stingers or jellyfish, they encouraged everyone to wear bodysuits in case there were some stingers out there. They were full bodysuits. They were covered your head, they covered everything up, covered your hands up, and they were thinner than wetsuits. So it was something that we all wore, helped keep the kids warm while they were swimming, but also kept us free from stingers. So once we got all suited up, we hit the water, eager to explore the vibrant underwater world of Moore Reef. The kids had never snorkeled before, so it took them a little while to learn the breathing techniques and also a little while to warm up physically and also kind of get their courage built up to swimming out in the open, away from the barge with all the fish and the coral around. What was really cool though, we did get a chance to swim alongside multiple sea turtles. One thing we loved about the barge is they had multiple things out there. They had a big slide that you could go down from the top of the barge. They had like a sun deck up on top. They had like a glass bottom boat that you could do. They had an underwater observatory that you could go down and see the fish, where they would feed the fish at the end of the day. There were tons of activities out on the barge for the kids to take part in, and it gave them some opportunities to not just be snorkeling in the water, but to enjoy some of those other things. And it gave way for Phoenix and Cruz, who Phoenix didn't snorkel very long and Cruz couldn't snorkel. It gave us the opportunity to show Cruz some of the fish and things underwater through the glass bottom boat and the observatory that he wouldn't have gotten to see because he couldn't snorkel. Very the coral formations out there were really cool. They were loaded with colorful fish all over the place, all the holes and cracks around the coral. It was really surreal being surrounded by such biodiversity of God's creation. And it was like a stark contrast from the lush green rainforest we had just been exploring a few days before. Speaking of a few days before our time and adventure on the reef, we ventured inland to the Daintree rainforest. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's supposedly one of the oldest rainforests on Earth. Wonder why they call it the rainforest.
I know, right?
Greg Curie and I took a drive up to see the Daintree Rainforest, which is also the Daintree National Park. We headed to the Mossman Gorge inside the Daintree, and this is a place that's really popular for swimming, and it's super clear water and everything. But what's really funny is it's a rainforest, so Mossman Gorge was flooded. It had been raining there for weeks, so the rainforest was really keeping up with its name of the rainforest. It rained on us the whole time we were there. We hiked up the river, and it was up so high. And there's no way we could even consider swimming. We hiked about a 2-mile loop in the rain. It was really cool seeing all the huge trees and everything, and other plants wet. And when they're wet with this rain, the colors are so dense and so deep. And so it was really cool experiencing it in the rain. There's a reason it's called tropical North Queensland. We were there in March. It literally rained every day we were there. I mean, we were only there 5 days, but it did rain the whole time. The only day it did not rain on us most of the day was the day that we went to the reef. We had watched the weather, and we had to choose our reef day, and we decided to make it the last day before we flew out because that had the least chance of rain. One day, Megan and the kids wanted to go out to the beach, so I took an afternoon and drove up to Barren Falls National Park, which is up on the mountain above Cairns. And really, after the weeks of rain, the falls were roaring, and so I got up there, hiked around, checked out the different locations and the different viewpoints there. There was fog rolling through the canyon there. It was really cool to see the raw power of this cascading waterfall, and it's framed in by the lush rainforest surrounding it. It was really just kind of a reminder of the raw beauty and force that God's creation has. So while searching for places to stay, I wanted to stay at something that we could get access to the beach pretty easily. And so we stayed at this cool igloo type place. I don't know what else to call it. It's in Trinity Beach. It's a really pretty unique place. It's got about 5 domes, and it's got a pool in the middle. And each dome is separated, and they have like 2 flats at each side. But what was really cool is like it was just across the street from the ocean. So the waves were there. You could hear them crashing outside your door. And so it was really easy access to the beach. There was like a small little part of Trinity Beach town there, some restaurants, a coffee shop right in front, a really cool little sidewalk area to walk along the edge of the beach and down through the small town of Trinity Beach. So I'll put a link below to our stay. It was booked through Expedia. I think it cost around $500 for 5 nights. This was the perfect base for our adventures. The proximity to the beach, and then it was a close drive to downtown Cairns. The reef and the rainforest were really close, and it was a really ideal choice for us to stay. And I would definitely recommend this place for other families to stay into. Overall, our time in Cairns was a perfect blend of adventure and relaxation. We got to go to the beach, the pool, the rainforest, the barrier reef. We made memories that will really last forever. I mean, we got to see one of the coolest natural wonders of the world. So follow along as we continue to share more of our family travel experiences and travel tips on this channel. And hopefully that will inspire you to take your family and explore new places also.